What's your favorite poverty meal that you still eat regardless of where you are financially? I'm Mexican. For us, it's usually quesadillas without meat, rice and black beans as the sides. For us it's usually chilaquiles. I used to manage a fancy restaurant in Hollywood. The guys in the kitchen made the most bangin' chilaquiles for the staff. I told the owners to put it on the menu, but they said it didn't go with the concept. Grew up poor, but my mom sure knew how to stretch a dollar. She would make steak fingers out of the cheapest cuts she could find, tenderize, fry them up, make gravy out of the drippings, and serve with mashed potatoes. The whole meal probably cost less than $5 in 70s dollars. And I'm telling you, nothing tasted better. I made it for my kids when they were growing up, and they still ask me for it sometimes. She would be 94 today. Love you, miss you, mom. Oh my god, steak fingers. These were my favorite as a kid. I'm not even certain they were actual beef, but I know a frying pan, red meat and flour was involved. Bowl of cereal. Boiled potatoes and butter, don't care if I'm rich or poor, that is my go-to snack. AWW man, this hits hard. Was living alone in London, didn't have much money at all. I'd hit up Aldi, get a full chicken for $1.75, a broccoli for 55p, and some potatoes for 55p. I'd make a full roast like a king and still have potatoes to boil and have with butter after. So fucking good. Shti on a shingle? Sausage gravy served over toast. I scrolled for 10 minutes to find somebody who also grew up with SOS. My mom made the gravy from scratch. Just flour, butter, milk, and pepper, and used sliced corned beef instead. Chipped beef on toast. My mom was literally the only person I knew who ever made this. Definitely a dirty 30s meal. Dal. Aside from turmeric, you can buy all the ingredients for less than $2 a pound. Oh yeah. Dal is magic. Lentils in general deserve more love. They are so good for you and are delicious. They make a great meat substitute if you're broke or just want to go meatless. My grandma and mom makes lentil salad, which is just lentils with shallots. So fucking good. But after making it, it needs to rest in the fridge for a while before eating. We used to eat squash and eggs growing up. Grew the squash and eggs are cheap enough. Or trade with the neighbors. You just cut the squash into thin round and cook in a pan with a little oil until they are just soft. Scramble the eggs with the squash. Add a bunch of pepper. Some salt. Sometimes we ate it over noodles or rice. Breakfast today. Saute zucchini, onions, tomatoes. Put in the middle of provolone grilled cheese. Cook eggs in drippings of previous items. Use grilled cheese to soak up yolk. Felt extremely fancy and it really cost nothing. Bro, throw some mushrooms in that. Ghetto macketsware, make some pasta and add in whatever you can find in the fridge or cabinets. Cheese, lunch meat, spam, spices, etc. No two meals were ever the same. All this time I didn't even know it had a name. We would just do this to try to make a meal. I always called it poverty pasta. Oven baked potatoes with salt and margarine. Cheap ingredients found in almost every home and easy to make. Also, the starch in potatoes makes you feel full for pretty long. Sprinkle over a decent layer of Lara's seasoned salt to really make the tatters tasty. Or some powdered onion soup mix. Toss the potatoes into a bag with the soup mix or the seasoning salt with a little bit of oil before you put the tatters in a pan to bake for even better results. Soup boiled down with rice to bulk it up. This is a good one. Almost like a porridge or congee. When I'm sick I boil rice in chicken stock and just eat it that way. No soy sauce or anything else, so it's easy on my stomach. It's a really comforting thing to eat. I always make long grain parboiled rice that way. So much tastier. My mum taught me to do that. Kind of like a cheat risotto but more cooked. When I was at uni I lived off it with chopped hot dogs stirred into it. Surprised I didn't get scurvy now I think about it. Peanut butter sandwich. Nothing beats a good old fashioned PB&J. Hold the J. This guy nut butters. Macaroni and cheese. I used to eat the boxed mac and cheese with that yellow powder. But now I make my own using a very basic recipe. Boxed mac is definitely if you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, no brainer. It's my go-to answer. I can never get tired of the taste. Stew. There could be anything in there, but it's still delicious. My grandma, who grew up during World War II, taught me that you can make soup from almost anything. At least once a week I just throw a bunch of scrap veggies, leftover meat, rice and whatever other random bits are left over from the week's meals into a pot with some stock. Boil it all together and bam. We save the bones from every meal that had animal protein in it. Then boil them to make bone broth. Super filling and nutritious. Then weaken the broth BC it keeps forever. If you're too lazy to cook, you just dump a jar of broth, cup and a half of rice, bag or two of frozen veggies into a crock pot and walk away. Soup in 2 hours. Steamed white rice. Cracker or egg in it while it's scorching hot. Stir aggressively and dash with soy sauce. If I have some roasted seaweed and that shiz. Super cheap breakfast, but oh man is it filling / delicious. This has become one of my go-to. Maybe a bit of fried garlic and or sesame seeds. Some chopped spring onions or chives. Basically whatever's in the fridge. Toasted sesame seeds is something I've gotta try next time. But yeah, that's why I love it. Just get to experiment. And it's good every time. Grilled cheese sandwich. Grilled cheese is great pretending to be bougie food too. My brother and I used to go to the store together and splurge on fancy iced cheese, i.e. still the pre-cut stuff in plastic in the dairy section, not the high-end stuff in the deli section or the fancy cheese cooler, and see who could come up with the best combination of cheeses and bread from the bakery section. I think we settled on sourdough, smoked Gouda, Havarti, and cream cheese. Saltine crackers with shttty cheese melted on top. Saltines with butter. My grandmother got me hooked on that when I was little. I drifted away from it through a large chunk of adulthood, but embraced it again a year or two ago. It's now my go-to late night snack. Anyone who hasn't tried it is definitely missing out. Beans and rice. I remember a big pot of beans living in the fridge. Hungry? Get some beans. Don't like what was for dinner? Get some beans. Upset stomach? Beans. That was 100% my grandmother growing up. Anytime you said you were hungry, beans. If you were lucky there were cold biscuits left from breakfast. Too. Tortillas here but yeah. Beans and government cheese FTW. Ugh, homemade flour tortillas with beans and queso fresco is like the best meal out there. Toast. If you have butter or something to slap on top, even better. But a few pieces of toast usually satisfies my hunger for a decent amount of time. I'm the opposite. Toast always makes me hungrier. Yeah, I feel like whenever I eat toast I get this ravenous hunger for more. Smashed potatoes with cheese was once my favorite poverty meal and now some kind of soul food. Hot dogs and baked beans. Beanie wieners. Butter noodles. Yes. And if you were lucky to have parm and garlic, then you're eating good. Ramen. I'll one-up that with Indomie specifically. If you haven't heard of it, you're missing out. It was so popular in Nigeria it practically replaced the world noodle, despite Indomie being an Indonesian product. 688 kilometers away. I brought it to an international summer camp in Finland where all the delegates from other countries pretty much lapped up the serving tray like dogs. Fried eggs with fried potatoes. This is not poverty meal. This a gold meal in Romania. The only meal Romanian dads knew how to cook when mom was away. I still regularly eat my struggle nachos. Tortilla chips with slices of American cheese on top and microwaved. Now that I can afford it, I'll throw taco meat on top every now and again, but still very much enjoy just the chips and cheese. If you're really feeling like a big shot, use some chorizo instead of regular taco meat. That S is a bomb. Cream of mushroom soup and rice. Cream of mushroom soup plus pasta plus Costco frozen meatballs plus spices equals Swedish meatballs. Cream of mushroom soup plus pasta plus tuna plus spices equals Poseidon's kiss. Pancakes. Cheap to make and filling. Can be eaten with whatever is in your fridge. Peanut butter and sliced banana on toast. Now that I'm better off financially, I'll add real honey and ground cinnamon, because I'm a fancy bee now. Bougie as F. Quesadillas, with hot sauce, if there is any. Edit. I think a lot of people have different ideas of what a quesadilla is. My version is strictly a single tortilla with whatever cheese I have lying around. Usually dollar packs of singles. That means no meat, beans, lettuce, tomato, etc. And I definitely don't use a foreman to make mine. Poverty meal? That's dinner where I come from. Wait. I felt this in my bones. Big pile of scrambled eggs, with hot sauce.